sa kapwa ko Pilipino. Ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo, ilantad ang likas nating talento, at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at magpapatalo, ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy! Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, syempre, sibay, lakay, amiga. Sama-sama pakita ang galing natin katropa sa kapwa ko Pilipino. Pilipino, yan ang Pinoy.
Bagong taon, bagong pahina sa ating mga buhay at sa mundo ng palakasan. Pero meron ba talagang nagbago? Yan po ang ating pag-usapan sa inyong paboritong kasama tuwing Sabado ng umaga. Eh di paano? Bango na! Bagong taon, power and play na! Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, mga kapatid. Happy New Year to everyone. Naku, na-miss nyo ba kami? Na-miss ko po kayo. Ha? Magandang umaga po muli. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum at ang Cherry Tigo. It's fun to drive. Ako po si Noli Eala at talaga namang na-miss ko kayo. 2 linggo tayong nawala ng live. At sana'y nakapagpahinga kayo, although talagang napakahirap ng ating ipinasok. Bagong taon, bagong mga resolutions, pero bago din ang mga problema. Dinabati po natin lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig sa Radyo 5, 92.3 News FM, lalong-lalo na po dyan sa gawing San Pablo City, sa Los Baños at sa Tanawan, Batangas. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Of course, lahat po ng mga nakatutok sa 1PH on Signal TV, Channel 1 yan sa Signal. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Maayong buntag sa Cebu City at sa Cagayan de Oro. And of course, lahat po ng nanonood via our live stream sa Facebook, ng 1PH, ng Radyo 5 at ng Power and Play. Naku, sabi nga natin bagong taon pero ang dami rin pong pumasok na nadala natin problema mula sa 2021. Sabi nga nila 2022 version 2. Wag naman sana, no? Pero ang dami po natin mga kaso, kaya we hope na kayo po lahat ay nag-iingat at hindi po nasa sa magandang kalagayan po kayong lahat. Ingat lang po at napakarami pa rin ng ating mga kaso. Marami po tayong pag-uusapan ngayon, pero yung iba doon problemang nakuha natin mula sa nakalipas na taon. Pag-uusapan po natin patuloy na problema, kontrobersiya at saga ni EJ Obiena at ng PATAFA. Mamaya po yan kasama mismo ang Pangulo ng Philippine Olympic Committee, si Congressman Abraham Bambol Tolentino. Makakausap din po natin mismo ang chairman ng Philippine Basketball Association, si Mr. Ricky Vargas, tungkol po naman sa naging desisyon nila na itigil muna ang PBA. At mamaya din po ang ating kaisa-isang entry sa Winter Olympics sa Beijing. Si Asa Miller ang ating makakapanayam sa In the Spotlight. So dyan lang po kayo. Huwag po kayong aalis, huwag po kayong lilipat dahil hitik na hitik ang ating programa ngayong bagong taon. At syempre, simulan na natin sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay sa inyo ng buod ng ating mga storya tungkol sa palakasan sa ating sports weekly highlights. Simula pa lang ng taon, bad news agad sa mga Pinoy hoops fans. Sinuspinde na ng tuluyan ng PBA ang mga laro ng Governor's Cup kasunod ng pagpataw ng Alert Level 3 sa Metro Manila. Pansamantala ring ipinatigil ang mga team practices dahil sa COVID-19 surge. Pwede pa rin namang ang individual workouts pero limitado ito sa 7. Nag-anunsyo na ang Games and Amusements Board na papayagan ang bubble setup sa mga Pro League pero wala pang anunsyo ang PBA kung papunta rito ang direksyon ng conference. Kaugnay naman ng patuloy na issue sa pagitan ni Olympian EJ Obiena at ng Philippine Amateur Track and Field Association o PATAFA, ipinagpaliban ng PATAFA ng 2 linggo ang desisyon nitong tanggalin si Obiena sa national team. Yan daw ay bilang tugon sa komento ng Malacanang at request ng Philippine Sports Commission. Sa isang statement, pinakiusapan ng PSC si Obiena na ipasa na lahat ng dokumento kailangan para maklear ang issue ng liquidation. Inutusan din ito ang 2 kampo na itigil ang public spat at lumapit na sa kanila para mapagitnaan ang issue. Samantala, umakyat naman sa number 3 sa World Pole Vault Ranking si Obiena. Update naman sa isa pa nating Olympian. Inanunsyo na ni Golden Girl Heidelin Diaz na lalaban siya sa 2024 Olympics. Sa isang Instagram post, kinumpirma ng first Filipino Olympic gold medalist ang simula ng kampanya para sa Paris. May picture si Diaz na hawak ang isang figure ng Eiffel Tower at may caption na New Year, New Beginning, New Goal, #Paris 2024. Sana nga, go for history, Heidelin! Kasama mo kami. Sa NBA naman, nakalaro na sa wakas ngayong season si Kyrie Irving. 22 puntos ang ibinuhos ni Uncle Drew para tulungan ang Brooklyn Nets sa comeback win kontra Indiana Pacers 129-121. Matandaang naka-sideline si Kyrie dahil hindi siya bakunado kontra COVID-19. Hindi naman ipinagbawal ng NBA ang non-vaccinated players. Yun nga lang, may vaccine mandate ang New York City kaya sa road games lang makakalaro ang superstar guard. Sa Dallas naman, niretiro ng Mavericks ang jersey ni Dirk Nowitzki. Untouchable na ang number 41 ng German superstar forward na naglaro para sa Mavs mula 1998 hanggang 2019. Sa tennis, hindi pa man nagsisimula ang title defense, ligwak na agad si Novak Djokovic sa Australian Open. Kinansila kasi ng Australian authorities ang kanyang visa dahil naku po, hindi bakunado kontra COVID-19 at hindi tinanggap ang sinasabi niyang medical exemption. Si Djokovic ang may pinakamaraming men's singles title sa unang Grand Slam ng taon. Siya rin ang title holder sa huling 3 edisyon ng Australian Open. At sa volleyball, posibleng bumalik sa bubble setup ang Premier Volleyball League ngayong taon. Yan ay kung hindi gaganda ang sitwasyon sa COVID-19. Ayon kay PVL President Ricky Palou, posibleng maging venue ng bubble ang Subic, Clark, Metro Manila o Tagaytay. 2 conference ang target ng liga ngayong taon. Isang open conference at reinforced. At yan po ang mga buod ng ating mga balita sa Sports Weekly Highlights. Ako, daming balita po mga kaibigan. At patuloy po natin tinututukan lahat ng yan. Kasama na rin po yung, lalong-lalo na yung Australian Open. Balita ko nga pala, si Alex Eala po na nanalo minsan sa Australian Open ng doubles title ay hindi po lalaro sa Australian Open. Instead, siya po ay lalaban sa isang tournament, sa isang pro tournament sa Mallorca, Spain. Yan po balita ko lang po yan kinumpirma po yan ng ama ni Alex mismo. Alright, marami pa tayong pag-uusapan dyan. Pero syempre, pag-usapan muna natin at kasama natin sa talakayan kayo po, aming mga giliw na mga tagapakinig at tagapanood sa ating pong pulso ng bayan. And of course, sa ating pong pupulsuhan ngayong bagong taon, simpleng-simple lang po. Kasi syempre lahat tayo may mga New Year's resolution. So ang tanong po, ano ang New Year's resolution nyo? Para sa sports o sa inyong mga paboritong liga o atleta? Ulitin ko po yan Ano po ang inyong New Year's resolution para sa mundo ng palakasan o di kaya sa inyong paboritong atleta o liga? Para po makasama sa ating talakayan, mag-text lamang sa 0908-208-0629 or di kaya ay magkomento sa aming Facebook page ng Power and Play, Facebook ng Radyo 5 o ng 1PH. Alright ha, mamaya babasahin po natin yan sa ating palatuntunan. In the meantime, naku, punong-puno po tayo ng mga gagawin. Magbe-break muna tayo sa aming pong pagbabalik ang ating paboritong fast take. Magbabalik pa po ang Power and Play hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo.
I dare to dream big, to be a voice of my generation, to inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours with Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Naimbag na bigat po sa lahat ng ating mga kaibigan at mga suki sa Baguio City. Nandiyan tayo nung holidays and gusto ko po magpasalamat sa lahat ng ating mga nakasama dyan. Magandang umaga at Happy New Year sa inyong lahat. Ang dami po suki ng Power and Play dyan. Again, we'd like to say thank you so much for your support. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, ipasok na natin. Mabis na kagad to. Ang daming issue at pag-usapan po natin yan sa ating paboritong Fast Take. Ang Fast Take po ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo. It's fun to drive. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, ang ating pong makakasama sa Fast Take, mga balik Fast Takers ito. Mga suki natin kung saan ang opinion nila ang mahalaga. Ang ating pong makakasama ngayon, si Joey Villar ng Philippine Star at si Enzo Flojo, ang ating FIBA correspondent and of course mula sa Tiebreaker Times, Tribune at ng FIBA. Good morning gentlemen! Happy New Year Joey at saka Enzo!
Happy
Good morning,
New Year,
Kom. Good morning, Joey. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Enzo, Happy New Year.
I'm happy to see you. Thank you for joining us. At least nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan. Alam mo, marami sa ating mga colleagues, hindi, medyo tinamaan na ng COVID. So ingat-ingat lang, Joey and Enzo. Alam natin kung gaano nakakahawa itong Omicron virus. Before I go to the issues, Joey, let me begin with you. No? Just a brief comment, itong nangyari sa PVL ngayon. I know you're following volleyball very closely. Umalis ang Santa Lucia, ano ba yan, leave of absence mula sa PVL. Ano bang impact niyan sa PVL and sa tingin mo ba yung mga players nila ay makakakuha ng madali na tahanan sa ibang teams?
Yes, Kom. Malaki rin impact syempre, isang team ang mawawala. Pero tingin ko naman, ang positive side doon, yung may spread yung players ng Santa Lucia na alam naman natin ay contender. So pag na-spread yan, magkakaroon ng more balance sa liga. So in a positive way, okay na rin dahil ganun talaga. Dahil di maiiwasan eh. Gusto rin umiiwas ng Santa Lucia sa pandemic na mahawa. So valid reason naman.
Oo. Well, tayo laging, of course, hindi natin pwedeng sumaluhat sa mga desisyon na ganyan dahil ang kanilang pinagbabasihan ay yung kaligtasan ng kanilang mga players. And so on the other hand, you know, this pandemic is obviously wreaking havoc on many of the schedules. Yung mga plano natin, ang PBA, tumigil na nga. And then we are looking at probably an effect on the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers in February. What are you hearing? Ito ba ay posibleng mangyari, Enzo?
Well, it really all depends on our cases, Com. No? And if the data that we're seeing from international sources will also be reflected in the Philippines, and hopefully, in an ideal situation, no, by early to mid-February, hopefully bumaba ng cases natin. But if that's not gonna happen, then FIBA will likely postpone, no, the next window, just like what happened late in 2021. It's really a possibility, if not a likelihood, at this point. No, right now, realistically speaking, if the window in February is postponed, it will probably take place in June or July. Tapos, instead of playing 4 games, Gilas will need to play 6 games in 6 nights. Para
Wow.
in June. So
Wow.
so hopefully our cases go down. Kasi even if our cases do go down and we hold the window here, there's no assurance that countries like Australia or New Zealand or Japan will send their teams here. No.
Oo nga,
So that's
oo nga.
another layer to the issue as well. Ko.
Oo nga. Well, of course, tayo naman ay already seeded into the World Cup. Ito ay, kumbaga, formality na lamang. And of course, a matter of pride para sa atin sa Pilipinas. But we're certainly hoping na maayos ito at mawala na itong problema ng Omicron. Alright, gentlemen, alam na ninyo ang patakaran, alam na ninyo ang racket dito sa Fast Take. Bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, huwag magagalit. Ang opinion nyo ang mahalaga. And of course, walang tama, walang mali. Let's begin with our first Fast Take issue of the morning. Sa pagtaas ng kaso ng COVID sa bansa, dapat na nga ba, ito po ay tungkol sa PBA, dahil naman natin, sinuspindi na ng PBA ang kanilang game temporarily. Well, ang tanong is, dahil sabi ng GAB, pwede naman daw sa bubble setup, ang contact sports, dapat bang mag-bubble setup na lang ang PBA o tuluyan na ngang huminto ang liga para sa kapakanan ng mga players at fans? I'll begin with you, Joey. You'll have 1 minute. Go, Joey.
For now, I think a bubble is close to impossible because sabi nga ni PBA Chairman Ricky Vargas, the PBA postponed games momentarily to allow the players, the staff, the coaches, and those affected to heal and prevent more spread of the COVID-19. So, tingin ko, for now, hindi muna. Eventually, I think the PBA will eventually think or toy with the idea of holding another bubble kasi the fans will clamor for it. Kaya lang for now, talagang hindi sila maka-decide kasi nga walang player eh. So kung mag-hold sila ng bubble, tapos walang players, kawawa naman yung games, ma-apektuhan yung quality of games. Tapos, siyempre, injustice to the fans yun, kung ganun, siyempre, di ba? So eventually, they will. And I hope na bumaba yung cases para bumalik na yung basketball sa Pilipinas na mahal natin.
Well, alam natin na marami pang masasagasaan pagka rin nangyari tumaas ang kaso, marami pang nagpaplanong magsimula. And so, same issue. Ang PBA ba ay dapat ng tuluyang huminto dahil nga sa pataas ng mga COVID cases o magbabol na lamang para matuloy lamang ang Governor's Cup? You have 1 minute, Enzo. Go!
Well, sa akin, Kom, I think it's absolutely necessary to have that, idea of having a bubble on the table for the PBA. Maybe give it a week or two if the situation really doesn't improve. I think that they really have to consider it more seriously. The conference is on the line. We're talking about the Governor's Cup right now. Syempre, there are many downsides to a bubble setup, no? Additional cost, mental health ng mga league at team personnel. But not doing a bubble in a few weeks if the cases do not improve might be even costlier, no? Lost revenue for the league. Teams continue to pay the players and the team personnel while their brands are not promoted. And players aren't even training right now, no? Higher health risks without a bubble for team and league personnel. And habang walang PBA sa TV or online, the fan interest is gonna wane. So moving forward, looking in the next few years even, I think the league really needs to rethink its entire business model, the overall framework of the league to adjust to this new reality and the new challenges of these times.
Yan ang magandang sinabi mo, Enzo, no? That there has to be new thinking sa PBA dahil iba na ang mundo natin ng palakasan. All of these cancellations brought about by this pandemic, talagang napakasakit. Tandaan natin, Governor's Cup to, may mga imports pang nag-iintay dyan and they're paying them a lot of money. Pero hindi ako naniniwalang dapat kansilahan ng tuluyan sapagkat dyan naman nakasalalay ang pag-asa ng ating karamihan ng mga fans na nagkakaroon ng konting kasiyahan pa naglalaro ang PBA. But again, a bubble setup must be rethought immediately. I think they should resume in a bubble setup. Kahit papano, gawin na nilang very strict yan. And we have to live with this pandemic. Hindi na tayo pwedeng magtago sa ilalim ng bato. Alright, second issue natin ngayong umaga. Ito naman ay tungkol sa NBA. Naku, masaya ito. Kasi alam naman natin na ang daming nangyayari din sa NBA. Yun ang isang problema nila, yung COVID. May mga players na hindi naglalaro, may mga players na pwedeng maglaro, and then all of a sudden nawawala. So, ang isang naapektuhan dyan ay ang Los Angeles Lakers na alam naman natin ay fan favorite ng mga Pinoy. So, ang tanong, and I'll begin with you, Enzo, makakatungtong ba ang Lakers sa playoffs? Kung wala sila magiging major roster change bago ang trade deadline sa February 10. Ang lapit na yan, February 10. Will they make it to the playoffs? You have 1 minute, Enzo. Go!
Well, roller coaster ride ang season na to para sa Lakers, but right now, actually, the Lakers are 6th in the Western Conference. So they have a winning record. They're on a 3-game winning streak. I think they will make the playoffs for sure. But will they get far? Not so sure. I'm not confident that's going to happen. No? So much depends on two things for the Lakers. Yung health ng big three nila, that's Russ, that's LeBron, that's Anthony Davis. They've missed a lot of games due to injury or load management. And second, their supporting cast has been so inconsistent this season. At best, I think the Lakers will make the playoffs maybe from the 4th to 6th seed. At worst, they'll be in the play-in just like last season. But we can never discount them because they have two of the best players right now. When they're healthy, LeBron and Anthony Davis. And usually in the playoffs, the team with the best player will usually win an entire series. So don't discount the Lakers. They're gonna make the playoffs. Whether they're gonna get far is another question altogether.
All right. Well, yan ay magandang makita. But again, you're right. Anthony Davis has been out for so long. Same issue, Joey. Alam ko ikaw sinusundan mo yung NBA dahil sa ating fantasy league. Nakatuto ka talaga dyan. Ano ang tadhana ng Los Angeles Lakers? Will they make the playoffs kung hindi sila gagawa ng major roster change bago ang trade deadline? 1 minute, Joey. Go!
Para sa akin, the Lakers will make the playoffs even if they don't trade. Pero if they want to trade, I would prefer getting someone who can stretch the floor and do away with stiff centers like Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan. So, kasi nakaka-constrict sa offense and defense ng Lakers yung kabagalan nila. Hindi na marami ng Jokic ngayon, marami ng Embiid ngayon, marami ng Antetokounmpo. So, they need someone na ganun. Kung hindi man exactly ganun, close sa ganun. Yung players like Bialica, players like Kleba, players like Thomas Bryant, or possibly a Marvin Bagley na masyadong wala na nga sa doghouse pero alam na tinitrade siya ng Sacramento. So, if they can get that, malaking pag-asa ang Lakers na makapasok sa playoffs. But I believe they will make the playoffs even without these trades. So, but to win the title, no.
mukhang unanimous tayo dyan. Lalong-lalo na when you have a guy named LeBron James on your team playing on his 19th year at 37 years old and yet breaking records left and right at talaga namang ang ganda ng nilalaro ngayon ni LeBron. It's very hard to see that the Lakers will not make the playoffs. But again, you're right. Winning the championship is another matter sapagkat mukhang ang NBA ay laro na ng mga bata at hindi na pwede rin na wala kang young blood dyan sa lineup na yan. Alright, let's go to our third and final issue of the morning. Ito po ay patungkol pa rin sa basketball but about players that are wanting to play in the PBA. Dapat na bang palaruin sa PBA bilang local players sina Andre Blatch at Marcus Douthit na alam naman natin yung mga naturalized players bilang technically mga Pilipino naman yan dahil sila ay ni-naturalized na. I'll give you 1 minute, Joey. Go!
I believe it's about time to give our naturalized players like Blatch and Doughty to play in the PBA kasi kumbaga they chose the Philippines to play for our Gilas Pilipinas. So bakit hindi natin i-afford sila ng same right as other Filipinos na nakakalaro? Kaya lang siguro iniisip ng PBA ang question ng papayag ba tong sila Blatch at si Doughty na yung salary nila kasing rate ng Pinoy. Kung pumayag, check. Ngayon, isa pang question, paano ito madi-disperse? Dalawa lang sila. So, 12 teams yan. So, how would the PBA disperse them? Special draft ba? Special draft ba? Tapos, may isa pang question, yung pag-reinforce conference. Siyempre, lugi na dahil alam naman natin level ng dalawa, pang import. So, bibigyan ba natin restriction yung teams na nakakuha sa kanila na, for example, ang limit 6'11", 6'4" lang ba ibibigay sa kanila na nakakuha sa dalawa? Yun ang mga questions na dapat sagutin para maging possible ito.
Alright, well, ang daming tanong yan. Ang daming tanong na nilatag si Joey, but those are very valid questions. So again, same issue, Enzo. With the naturalized players, Andre Blatch and Marcus Douthit knocking at the door, dapat na bang palaruin ng PBA bilang mga local players ang mga ito? 1 minute, Enzo, go!
Well, my answer is absolutely, Coach at Kom. No? I totally agree with Sir Joey what he said. No? Dapat matagal lang pwede. Pareho sila, even Ange Kwame in the future, no? Because they are local. Technically, they are. No? Or, if we want to be very, finicky about labels, we can maybe classify them as, special exemption, as naturalized players. No? For me personally, there should not be any distinction between our naturalized players and, say, Filipinos who were born abroad but are allowed to play as locals in the PBA. These are players who chose to play for our country, and yes, in a way, it was profitable for them to do so, but we should also honor their being bona fide citizens by giving them all the privileges that regular Filipinos are entitled to, no? Like playing in our leagues as locals. Now, maybe if the PBA really has so many questions, and I agree, ang daming tanong talaga, dinitil na ni Sir Joey halos lahat, no? For example, size nila, height limit, yung talent, sino makakakuha sa kanila. There are many ways to, we can implement policies to address those. Maybe only the bottom 4 teams in the Philippine Cup can get Andre or Kwame or Douthit. And if they get these, then their actual import can be no taller than 6'1 or 6'2. And as long as they can agree to the salary of a Filipino, then dapat pwede sila sa PBA.
Totally agree. Alam mo, ako, my position is, yes, they should play. Secondly, Pinoy sila, they should be the same terms as a Filipino. And of course, finally, meron dapat handicapping. This is a way to get parity back in the league. Pwede naman niya kung dalawang import talaga, isang naturalized, isa lang ang pwede maglaro at a time kung gusto ng PBA. So many ways to skin a cat, pero ang importante dito, let's respect the rights. Ginawa mong naturalized So, tratuhin mong Pilipino. Alright, Joey and Enzo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Stay safe ha, ingat tayo. Ang dami natin mga kasamang nagkakasakit. Ingat lang tayo, Joey and Enzo. Thank you so much and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Kom. Thanks for Joey. Ingat.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure indeed. Maraming salamat. Mga kaibigan, nakasama natin from the Philippine Star, Joey Villar, and from Tribune, and of course, ang ating kaibigang FIBA correspondent, si Enzo Flojo. Yan po ang ating fast take at hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Gigo. Alright, mga kapatid, we will take a quick break. Sa amin pong pagbabalik, makakasama natin ang Pangulo ng Philippine Olympic Committee, si Congressman Bambol Tolentino. Ang oras po natin, 8:34 ng umaga. This time check is brought to you by Birmingham Subdivisions. Come home to Birmingham.
I dare to dream big, to be a voice of my generation, to inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Alex, are you ready to have some fun on your first driving lesson?
Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play with Kom Noli Eala. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat muli. Alam niyo po, bago nagtapos ang taon last year, pumutok ang balita na talaga namang nakagimbal sa buong mundo ng palakasan. Ito po yung sigalot sa pagitan ni EJ Obiena at ng PATAFA, kung saan nagkaroon po ng issue ang dalawang partido na nauwi po sa napakatinding bangayan. Isa po sa mga nasangkot o ika nga na damay o pinakiusapang sumama para po makipag-ayos o maayos itong sigalot na to ay ang Philippine Olympic Committee. At bago po nagtapos ang taon, ay nagkaroon po ang desisyon ng POC Ethics Committee na gawin pong persona ng grata ang Pangulo ng PATAFA na si Mr. Philip Popoy Wico. Ngayong araw pong ito, makakasama natin para bigyan tayo ng clarification dito po sa naging desisyon ng POC, walang iba kung hindi ang Pangulo ng Philippine Olympic Committee, Congressman Abraham Bambol Tolentino. Magandang umaga po, Kong Bambol, and Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us ulit dito sa Power and Play.
Good morning. Magandang umaga, Kom Noli, sa lahat.
Sana po nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan dahil napakatindi ng surge ng COVID po, and we certainly are happy to have you on the show. Now, let me go straight to the point. Nagkaroon po ng desisyon ang POC through the recommendation ng Ethics Committee na gawin pong persona ng grata si Philip Popoy Wico in relation to this controversy ng PATAFA at ni EJ Obiena. Before I go to the decision, Kong Bambol, ang tanong ko lang po, marami yung nagsasabi, this is a liquidation case. Bakit ho pinasa ninyo sa Ethics Committee ang sigalot na ito?
Well, very basic, no, Kom Noli. Yes, it's about liquidation issue niya sa NSA niya. But, nag-file si EJ ng complaint sa Athletes Commission about regarding the behavior, conduct ng kanyang presidente ng NSA. Bullying, harassment, etc. All kind of complaints. So, doon lang namin binase yung merits. Labas na kami doon sa
liquidation. Ayun.
Kung tungkol sa conduct, behavior, it's not an intra-NSA. It's not whatever arbitration. So, diretso sa, nirefer namin sa ethics. It's conduct. So, ethics. So, the Ethics Committee gave due process, nag-hearing, binigyan ng time mag-submit ng position paper, nag-submit si EJ, yung kabila, nag-submit din ng, binigyan pa ng extension ng Ethics Committee, nag-submit din ng position paper, ng letter, but it's not position paper, but it's sinasabi nila na non-jurisdiction daw. So, hindi kinikilala. So, with that, basically, winave na niya yung right niya. So, the Ethics Committee decided, based on the merits, based on all documents they gathered and everything, hearing, interviews, etc. So, after that, naggawa ng decision, recommendation, I mean. So, dinala na namin sa Executive Board. Then, dinisisyon na ng Executive Board. It was approved by the Board, 11 of 14. So, 2 abstention and 1 absent. So, technically, all agreed. So, yun ang
okay.
Sorry,
Maganda ho yung nabanggit niyo na meron palang reklamo sa Athletes Commission because hindi masyadong napapag-usapan yan. And now it's mas malinaw na kaya kayo nagkaroon ng desisyon. This was not about the liquidation matter. This was about a conduct. In fact, in decision po ninyo, Kong Bambol, sabi ninyo sa decision ninyo, he accused, si Popoy Wico accused and maligned publicly in media in November for allegedly falsifying his liquidation report and insinuated theft. In other words, although these are two parts, yung truth about the falsification and yung manner by which it was conducted, ang inyong tinakil sa POC ay only about yung relationship o yung pagbubulgar ni Presidente Wico tungkol kay EJ Obiena.
Yes, the way he was treated, the way the athlete was treated.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yun lang naman
Alright.
talaga. So, labas na kami doon. So, whatever other issues, no?
Okay, so in other words, Kong, malinaw ho na you are not tackling, or you did not have any findings on the falsification. Wala ho kayo dyan.
Labas kami doon dahil sa NSA PSC, ano yun?
Issue.
Affairs. Yeah, issue. So,
okay.
ang kadugtungan nun, Kom Noli, ito yung ngayon. So, kung nag-give way si EJ yesterday for mediation, nag-ceasefire sila. Nag-ceasefire din kami ng POC 2 weeks. Kahit, of course, surge yung COVID ngayon, ganun na rin yun. Nag-ceasefire na rin kami. Instead na sa 12 ang General Assembly for ratification, plus 2 weeks, so that will be 26.
Alright. Okay. Kung ang tanong ho, ano ho ang ibig sabihin ng persona non grata para sa mga maraming ordinaryong tao na nagtatanong, ano ba ang ibig sabihin nito na declare si Popoy Wico na persona non grata? And can you enforce this sa POC? How will you enforce this?
Yes, of course. We can enforce this. No? Persona non grata, yung hindi ka namin kinikilala or hindi ka namin tinatanggap na sa POC. But, of course, yung NSA, yung PATAFA, kinikilala pa rin namin. They can still function. Meron pa naman silang vice president. Meron pa naman silang SecGen. And the NSA can still function na siya ang presidente sa other stakeholders. Hindi naman siya pinersona ng grata ng PSC, ng iba, ng AF, ng Asian Federation, ng SEA Games, ng IOC or what. So kami pa lang, first step. Pero i-elevate din namin yan pagdating ng araw. No? So, sanction lang ng POC yun within the organization.
Alright.
Okay? Under namin sila, officers and NSA, under the umbrella of POC. Kung wala nang ibang makakapag-disiplina sa kanila, we're talking of jurisdiction, sino pa? Alam nga namang DOJ, alam nga namang PNP. So POC talaga daw ang mag-didisiplina sa kanya.
Alright.
Hindi lang po, Kom Noli, hindi lang po ngayon nangyari itong persona non grata sa PATAFA. 2011, meron na palang ganyan.
Yes, si Mr. Gotengkok yata po, no?
Was declared persona non grata. And before Gotengkok, meron pa rin dineclare ang POC. Hindi ko na ma-recall, no? Meron pa rin isa.
So hindi ito unprecedented, ika nga, at meron talagang precedence ito. Kung, nagkaroon ng reaction ng PATAFA, of course, yung nga, binabanggit nyo kanina, sila, dinrap nila si Obiena from the national pool, they recommended charges, etc., etc., no? Ang tanong po, ano ho ang reaction ninyo dito at ano po ang gagawin ninyo with respect to these recommendations? Meron ba ho itong epekto sa POC?
Meron dahil first and foremost, kung talagang idadrop na siya sa national pool, mawawalan siya ng funding. So ang magagawa ng POC, just what we declared, no, we will give full support to EJ. Alam mo, napakahirap po maggawa ng ganitong world-class athlete. No? Baka another 15 to 20 years bago ka makagawa uli ng isang Obiena. So sayang naman yung bata. So with that, ang tanong lang, sino bang magbabankroll kay EJ from, kung halimbawa day 1 ngayon, kung wala na siyang allowance or what, hanggang sa training, hanggang sa mga international competition niya, sino ang magbabankroll? So doon papasok ang POC, doon kayo papasok. Definitely, we'll look for a private funding for that, no? Para man tulong. Pero marami na nagsalita, even I think PAL, malaki na nagsalita na rin, and through its spokesman and other senators na pabayaan niyo si EJ mag-training at mag-compete. And bakit niyo aalisin sa national pool? Kaya po nagkaroon ng break, na nagkaroon ng ceasefire o mission uli.
Kung paano po yung sinasabi ng PATAFA na sila lamang ang makakapag-sanction kay EJ na lumaban sa mga IAAF sanctioned meets, no? Katulad po ng Olimpiada, katulad po ng mga World Championships ni EJ at yung mga sinasalihan niya sa circuit. Ano po ang position dito ng POC?
No, we will invoke the POC will invoke the provision on the IOC Charter. It's very clear on IOC Charter. Remember, kahit sa SEA Games and Asian Games, it's very clear on Rule 27 that the NOC have the exclusive authority for the representation of their respective countries at the Olympic Games and regional games, continental, and world multi-sports competition patronized by the IOC. So, yun lang i-invoke namin. Remember, kami ang nagpapadala ng list ng delegate. Yes, it is being proposed by NSA. Pero kami yung last say, kami nagpapadala. So it's not only based on sports merits. No? As per IOC Charter, it's not only based on sports merits. It can also be based on example, to serve as an example to the sporting youth of the country. So, ang linaw. Diba? Ang linaw. Yes, sasabihin natin hindi siya makakalaro kasi wala na siya national pool. Hindi naman kailangan nasa national pool para makalaro. Di ba? Pag Olympics nga, may naglalaro na yes, this is a different case. Pero ganun pa rin. Pag Olympics nga, may naglalaro, walang bansa. Walang NOC, the refugee. The refugee.
Well, at least magandang balita yan para sa kampo ni EJ na siya ay merong merong reprieve o meron mapupuntahan para hindi naman tuluyan siyang maalis at hindi maka-compete sa mga international competitions. Kong, is there a chance dahil dito sa sigulot na to na maapektuhan ang Pilipinas sa IOC or di kaya ay masuspindi ng IAAF? Because nga, well, nagkaroon na ng declaration ng persona non grata, merong problema dito, may mga reklamong isasampa. Is there a chance that can happen?
Depende na yan sa IAF, dun sa International Federation na, not the OIC. But with regards to POC, NOC, wala. Pero sila, pwede silang hindi ma-recognize, pwede silang ma-sanction. Not the NOC, but the NSA.
So are you, meron ba ho kayong planong, assuming, sabi nga niya, ceasefire muna, no? Wala muna tayong gagawin dahil pumagitna na ang PSC sa request na rin ng Malacanang, no? After this po, at sabihin na natin walang mangyari sa mediation, ano po ang mga mangyayari? Ano po pwedeng mangyari dito sa issue na ito?
Kom Noli, before the ceasefire, let's run this as ceasefire. Before that, we've already communicated to the Asian Federation, International Federation, Olympic Council of Asia, IOC, Athletes Commission, NSA Affairs, SEA Federation. We've already communicated this project. So, na-heads up na sila. So, yun na po ang mga kasunod nun. After this, kung sa sinabi nyo na baka kung walang mangyari, may mangyari, wala. May schedule kami ng General Assembly. So, we're just following the process. After the Executive Board approval, what's next? Ratification of General Assembly.
Okay.
So, nagpahinga lang kami ng 2 weeks, briefer para, yun na nga, ceasefire kung karoon ng mediation or what, depende na sa kanila. Tuloy pa rin kami ng General Assembly.
Ayoko hong pangunahan ito, pero assuming maayos naman, kung Bambol, no? Is there a chance na ma-reconsider niyo po yung persona non grata ni Mr. Wico?
We will just follow the process, no? We'll cross the bridge pag on that General Assembly.
Okay.
Depends.
Kung alam natin na ito ay malungkot na chapter again ng Philippine sports, ito po nangyari na naman sa PATAFA at isang national athlete natin na ating pong inaasahan na magbibigay ng karangalan sa ating bansa. How do you see this being resolved in the future para po hindi na maulit-uli itong mga ganitong klaseng kaso?
Yes, malungkot na chapter with regards to the official athlete relationship. So alam na nun lahat. So it's an eye opener na ganun ba tayo magtrato sa mga atleta natin, especially world class, no? O may something diyan, o ang iniisip pa natin welfare ng atleta, na dapat yun naman talaga, at para sa bansa, para sa flag, o meron bang nakatago, ego or what, power or what, entitlement. So dapat wala nang ganon. Tingnan natin yung nakakatulong sa bansa, bibigay ng karangalan. Ang hirap kaya maging makabuo ng ganong klaseng world class athlete, no? Mahirap. Magbilang tayo kung 5 years siya toddler hanggang nagkaisip. So dagdagan mo ng 20 years bago ka makabuo ng ganon. So talagang 20 years.
Oo. Ang malungkot dito nahahati pati ang sports community, lalong-lalo ng track and field community. Sana hindi na makisawsaw yung iba at talagang pabayaan na itong mediation na sumulong at sana nga ay maayos itong sigalot na ito. Kung alam ko na marami nang napag-usapan dito and I do not want to overburden, patay na yung kabayo, hinahataw pa. So, let me go to another topic before I let you go. Ang Southeast Asian Games, will be this year. Although, ang dami nangyayari sa mundo dahil dito sa pandemic, but let's assume that it will happen. Meron po tayo nabalitang vaccine donation from the MVP Sports Foundation. Ano po ang reaksyon ng POC dito? And kamusta po ang paghahanda ng ating mga atleta?
Malaking tulong po yan sa mga atleta, lalo na yung that booster shot courtesy of MVP Sports Foundation. So, yung mga hindi pa naka-avail, yun yung big chance, no? Yung mahaba ang pila. Lalo na ngayon nag-surge ang haba ng pila sa mga LGUs, no? So, pag hindi yon, pag kinulang pa rin yon, with that 600 plus athletes, we can provide also sa LGU namin, no? So, tuloy-tuloy. Medyo tinamaan lang tayo dahil sa level 3. Kung walang contact sports, so na-delay na naman yung mga trainings, na-stop na naman yung mga trainings unless na takbo agad sila sa hanap agad ng level 2 areas na pwede mag-contact sports training. Remember, kinumpit ko so talagang uphill battle yan ng SEA Games Vietnam, no? Last SEA Games, overall champion tayo pero nasa likod natin ng Vietnam. Damang tayo ng 49, 40 plus gold medals. No? So binawasan naman tayo. Inalis naman yung army, inalis yung obstacle sport. So ang laki na agad nun. Kulang-kulang 20 na agad yun. Plus other. So nagbawas na, nagdagdag pa. Nagdagdag naman sila ng gominam, nagdagdag ng bodybuilding. Nasa 30 medals na agad yun. So minus and plus. So, ang hirap.
Grabe ang hamon.
Ano hahabulin yun. So uphill battle talaga yan.
Alright. Well, we're certainly hoping na ating mga atleta, alam naman natin, lalaban yan. Sana lang nga bumaba ang ating mga numero para makapag-ensayo na uli ang ating mga athletes. Kung one other news na bago tayo magtapos, lumabas po yung PSC budget at nabalitaan natin na ang binigyan lamang ng budget ay para sa SEA Games at para sa indoor games, no, yung martial arts Asian Indoor Games. Yung iba pong international meets, kagaya ng Winter Olympics, hindi na bibigyan ng walang budget ang PSC. Kamusta po? Ano po ang gagawin ng POC tungkol dyan? How are we going to help our athletes compete in the other international competitions this year?
Yung Winter Olympics, kaya naman. Maliit lang naman yun kasi isa lang ang athlete.
Nag-iisa lang.
Na nag-qualify. Definitely, kung hindi maka-produce ang PSC from savings, definitely, of course, gagawa na ng paraan ng POC yan. But not on the Asian Games. Sa Asian Games sa September, ang laki nun. So, with that, before Asian Games and other international games after SEA Games, well, we will check what will be the savings of the SEA Games. Then we will just add it on the request for additional supplemental for Asian Games. Napaka-importante po ng Asian Games. Yung pong hindi nakakarating ng Olympics, Asian Games lang ang ano nila. Hanggang doon lang ang level. So, very important. Para rin Olympics po ang laban natin sa Olympics. Taga-Asia, doon natin makakalaban. At mabigat din yun.
Mabigat to ang laban natin all around. Of course, alam naman natin na hirap din ang pondo, pero alam ko na kahit papano ang kapakanan ng ating mga atleta laging nasa puso ninyo at nasa puso ng ating pamahalaan. We certainly hope ito pong taon na to, again, maging successful tayo. Bagamat hindi maganda ang simula, dahil dito sa mga ingay-ingay na ito, mga konting problema, ang lagi nilang sinasabi, it's not about the start, it's about how we finish. Sana po maganda naman ang pagtatapos ng ating taon. Kong Bambol, marami po salamat sa panahon ninyo. And ingat po kayo. Ingat po kayo.
Salamat, Kom Noli, and Happy New Year, and stay safe too.
Salamat po. Happy New Year po. Yan po mga kaibigan ng Pangulo ng Philippine Olympic Committee, Congressman Abraham Bambol Tolentino. Sana nga ay maayos na ang sigalot dyan ni Obiena ng PATAFA. Yung mediation ay gumulong na at talagang magkasundo na mga partido. And of course, maayos na po natin ang mga problema sa larangan ng palakasan. Alam mo, dapat sports lang tayo. Sportsmen, sportsmanship. Laging may sports yun, ha? Huwag natin pong kalimutan yan. Alright, bago po tayo mag-break, isa lamang pong paalala mula sa Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Gigalife App is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Gigalife app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption. Auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network One Tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. All right, we will take a quick break. Sa aming pagbabalik, makakausap natin ang chairman ng Philippine Basketball Association, si Mr. Ricky Vargas. Ang oras po natin, 9:02 in the morning. This time check is brought to you by Birmingham Subdivisions. Come home to Birmingham. Magandang umaga po muli sa inyo lahat mga kaibigan. Again, nagpapasalamat kami sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta. Ang dami po nating mga sponsors ngayon. And I'd like to thank some more of our sponsors. Cherry Loom, marami po salamat sa Cherry Loom. Ang Cherry Loom po, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, ng mga kababayan, sobrang init tapos biglang ulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Maraming salamat din po sa Cherry Tigo. Paano mo masasabing nakaka-enjoy i-drive ang sasakyan mo? Isa lang ang sagot ko dyan. Siyempre, kapag ang minamaneho mo ay Cherry Tigo 7 Pro. Luxurious ang exteriors at comfort-filled naman ang interiors. Intelligent dahil meron itong automatic tailgate opening, engine start at climate control na pwede mong makontrol using its smart key. Perfect na pang long drive at dahil meron itong large sunroof, HD touchscreen, wireless mobile charging, at 360 around view monitoring. Pro na pro ka with Tigo 7 Pro dahil available na rin ito for as low as 88,000 pesos all in. Hanggang 120,000 din ang cash discounts exclusive mula po noong Setyembre. Open pa for free test drives kaya ischedule mo na ang appointment sa Cherry Dealer today. Cherry Tigo 7 Pro, fun to drive. Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Let's start the new year right with a cashback from Smart. Get up to 15% cashback to your JR Pay wallet. Just buy Smart and TNT regular load on Joyride Super App. Maximum of 5 transactions per customer per day only. Cashback is credited after 1 to 3 days. Ano pa ang hinihintay nyo? Download Joyride Super App at mag-load na. Elms Seafood Paluto. The latest offering of the Elms Resto Bar Group, located at Unit 2, ground floor, Calle Bistro, Ever, Commonwealth, Quezon City. Enjoy their delectable seafood menu in a relaxed, casual dining atmosphere for your salo-salo seafood meal. Visit also Carlitos Sisig Seafood Paluto along Shaw Boulevard, now open for dine-in and take-out from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Swabe ang timpla, pang Pinoy at international ang lasa. Maraming salamat kay Lance Ngo at kay Kapitan Carlito Sernal ng Carlitos Sisig Seafood Paluto. Skin, your face and body anti-aging center. It's the beginning of the year. The constant fight to lose weight from the holidays is harder than ever. So we heard you. Skin is offering a 5+2 promo until January 15. Call our branches at Alabang Town Center and Green Hills San Juan for your skin assessment and treatment schedule. 0917-890-1640 or 0977-809-8886. Birmingham Subdivisions. Come home to Birmingham. Located at Antipolo, Cainta, General Trias, Cavite, Marikina, Pasig, Rodriguez, San Mateo, and Tagaytay. Birmingham Subdivisions, building community since 1984. Celebrate your new year in a new home. Your home in Birmingham Subdivisions. Asea Subic Beach Resort. Experience the getaway that you deserve and drive into limitless happenings, rejuvenating experiences, and gastronomic adventures. Asea Beach Resort. Power and Play is also brought to you by the Umami Bowl, your go-to for Japanese rice bowls. Lick Hobby, Weave by Weave, hand in hand. Check out their IG pages. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live Smart. Maraming pong salamat sa lahat ng ating mga tagapagtaguyod. Alright, naku eto na. Medyo naantala tayo sa dami ng ating mga dapat pasalamatan for the new year. At this point mga kaibigan, of course, the big news, nasuspende ang Governor's Cup ng PBA. At para po pag-usapan yan, makakasama natin walang iba kundi ang chairman ng Board of Governors ng PBA, si Mr. Ricky Vargas. Magandang umaga, Chairman Ricky.
Hi, Kom Noli. Good morning.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Oh, good to see you. I hope you're taking care. Alam niyo, dami nating kaso ngayon, na pati sa PBA. So, I'm glad to see you. You are well and doing, you're very okay.
Thank you.
Chairman, diretso na po ako sa punto ng postponement ng PBA. Na-announce na nga ni Kom Willie at ninyo na nagdesisyon ng PBA Board to suspend temporarily the Governor's Cup. Una-una po tanong, gaano ho kahirap at nakakapanghinayang itong ginawa ninyong desisyon for postponement, Chairman?
As a former Noli, it's always difficult to postpone even one game, no? Kasi malaki ang financial impact noon. Number one, number two, we disappoint the fans. We have TV commitments, and it is also an impact on the team, no? Both from the PBA, from the sponsorship side, and from the team. Lalo na ito, import laden, no? So, pag yung tagal ng suspension, ganun din katagal ang extra na bayad na bibigay mo sa import, di ba? So, the cost to the team itself is a big amount. Okay, so it's a big sacrifice. So we're always going through this process of difficulty when we have to take a look at postponing games.
But ang sabi ho po ng Games and Amusement Board, Chairman Ricky, is that contact sports are not allowed except if you play in a bubble setup. Was this considered by the board rather than postponing na maglaro na lang po muli kayo sa bubble, or talagang gusto po ninyo na medyo bumaba muna itong mga COVID-19 cases?
Well, both. All of that was considered. Pero sa totoo lang, Noli, marami ding natamaan na players natin at saka referees na nagka-COVID, no? But it's well within the national average. So about 20 national average now, the infection rate is about 40. We're about 20-25% of our players, and even our referees have been got infected. No? So, but they're recovering very well. That's one. While we could have started earlier, Noli, ang problema is we also want to make it safe for everybody, no? So that we can continue to give exciting games. Kasi kung may kasamang takot na nasa isip nila, ang problema nun is we will have a half-hearted game that's being played. So
that's an excellent point, Chairman Ricky, na ang hirap maglaro ng merong ganyang klaseng threat, banta sa mga players, and alam naman natin, even in a bubble setting, medyo nakakatakot pa rin, no? And especially you're away from your family, and then may nangyari. Although alam naman natin ngayon, medyo mild ang cases, no? So, Chairman, you've mentioned the losses, the potential losses for the PBA. How long is the PBA willing to wait? Ito ba ho, meron na kayong timetable dito?
Meron na. In fact, we continue to work on closing the venue and being able to have just one venue and strengthen our relationship with Araneta Coliseum. No? So hopefully we can arrive at an agreement that Araneta will be our permanent venue, at least for this Governor's Cup. Malaking tulong yon kung hindi kami palipat-lipat. No? Number two, we're also looking, Kom Noli, at reviewing this on a weekly basis. So, hindi naman sasabihin namin na two weeks kami mag-stop, but we're looking at it day to day. We're looking at doing updates every week, so we can find out what is the best time for us to start again.
Well, ang laki po ng trabaho ninyo, Chairman Ricky, with this pandemic. I know that this 2 taon na to running, that you've had to make huge decisions para sa PBA, at talagang hindi na ho nakakatuwa, no?
Hindi nga. Napakaswerte ko nga, hindi ba? My term as chairman, I go through all these
crisis
from the beginning.
Goodness.
Crisis.
Oh, wow. Well, I do not envy you and of course the Commissioner Willie, but it is a difficult task and I just pray na matapos na po itong problema to. Of course, there have been some positive developments on the PBA side and I want to touch on that a little bit now. Yung PBA 3x3 po ng PBA natapos na and obviously it was a successful one. Ano po ang assessment ninyo, Chairman Ricky, on the 3x3 league and will this be a regular fixture now for the PBA?
Well, we are thinking of season 2 already, and hopefully when we get back playing again on this 5-on-5, we may have a second conference for 2-on-2, the 3-on-3. Ang maganda dito, Noli, is that we are recognized by FIBA already, and we're earning points in FIBA, so that's very positive for us. And number 3, it's also a venue for others to earn a living, no? And pag nakikita mo naman how difficult 3-on-3 is, no? And it's also a roadmap to getting to the Olympics. So maganda ang cooperation namin with SBP and PBA.
Maganda ho nga yan at of course nakakatulong yan para sa atin because that's another chance for us to make it to the Olympics. Sana nga lang, Chairman, yung pong iba nating regular players sa 5-on-5 na mga teams ninyo ay makalaro sa 3x3 para lalo pong sumigla yung 3x3. Is that something that you are considering and the Commissioner's Office?
Well, it's a separate conference in itself. So at this time, we have not talked about the interchangeability of players. So, but that's a good point if that can happen.
Kahit siguro isa, just so that we can see more star power sa 3x3 ng PBA. Another positive news, of course, Chairman Ricky, is your agreeing to join yung EASL, no? Yung East Asia Super League. Unang-una, Chairman, can you get us through yung thinking po at rationale ng PBA in joining the EASL?
It's about time. One, the marketing power of joining ESL for the PBA is tremendous, no? It exposes our type of basketball in the region. So sabi ko ay maganda yan, and it exposes the brand itself, no? And it gives the opportunity for our players to also be known in the region. Of course, there is may risks doon, di ba? Habang kilala nila yung players natin, they're subject to poaching, but that's the way it is. Yung pinaka-importante sa akin, we will be now in the same table as Korean basketball, Japanese basketball, because one of the first things that we asked Noli is that we be part of the board of EASL.
Okay. Wow.
So in that process, they created a board which includes all the teams or all the leagues that are part of it. So can you imagine the discussions, the camaraderie, the bonding, the collaboration we can have, and it may lead to something beneficial to everybody.
Yun nga ho, gusto kong tanungin dyan, Chairman, with that development, ngayon kayo ay part of already a policy-making board, I suppose, yung board na yan, or at least advisory at the very least. No? Do you see the PBA getting into a more formal league na region-wide or even continent-wide para sa pro basketball?
That's surely a possibility, Kom, no? That's surely a possibility. In the meantime, there is ongoing collaboration now with Korean basketball.
Wow.
And we have been reaching out to the Japanese league as well. And I guess the first time we get together in the conference, in the boardroom with all of them, these things may be discussed either informally or formally.
Ang kagandahan nito, Chairman, and I want to go to the next topic that I want to ask you, is yung itong relationship niyo na with Japan, Korea. Pwede niyo na hong pag-usapan dito yung tinatawag din niyo kaninang coaching. Kasi nga may mga bali-balita na mga teams ng Japan B-League na nagbibigay ng offer o may plano magbigay ng offer sa mga player ng natin sa PBA. And that certainly has impacted the PBA. Una-una, Chairman, ano ho ang reaction ninyo dito? Now that you see these offers, these gigantic offers being given, or at least allegedly being given, ano po ang thinking ng board dito insofar as policy making para ho hindi naman maapektuhan ng PBA?
Well, unang-una, you know that nabanggit na rin natin ni Kom na we relax the drafting rules, no? So
yes.
for field foreigners. So that hopefully will give us more talent that can join the PBA and more interest there. No? So you lose some, you gain some. So
that's right.
That's what it is. But more importantly, sa EASL, if we start collaborating, we may first step is have a rules of engagement, which is the underlying factor is respect. So nothing legal, but respect for contract, respect for policies of each and every league. So that is an important relationship or culture that we want to bring up in ASL.
All right. Well, that's a very good development. Of course, para po sa ating mga players na nangangamba na ika nga may problema. But one other thing, Chairman, is alam naman natin
on that end, sorry,
yes,
on that, sorry to interrupt you. On that end, we've also allowed there's a more lax attitude for allowing our players to go out and explore.
Okay.
When the contract is expired, no, and even when Filipinos who don't want to join the draft, that has been relaxed already, and giving them a time frame to be able to come back within 3 to 5 years.
Yes,
and they're still welcome in the Philippines. Sana ganon. So, because alam mo, lahat ito nangyayari, nag-iiba na yung behavior or demographics ng atleta natin. Hindi na tayo katulad noon na pag sinabi mo, sundin mo ako, di ba? Kasi akong coach o ako manager o ako hindi na. We have younger athletes, more educated athletes who are from the new generation and they speak better, they want to be aired, they want to be part of the policy making of the PBA or of the NSA, and they want to get involved. So we have to be able to turn around and see that nag-iiba na rin yung mga atleta natin na who become world class.
Alam natin, Chairman, there have been sabi ko nga, alleged offers, and then we hear the teams are matching some of these offers na when you look at it, yung mga bali-balitang yun, napakalalaking amounts na minamatch na offer. No, now we are not confirming this, of course, and we are saying na hindi naman ito maaring haka-haka lang, rumors lang, but do you think that it's time for the PBA to adjust your salary cap na magkaroon ng maybe a super max contract for one or two of your players? Kasi alam naman natin, Chairman, na isa lang naman ang mga kukunin dyan ng mga tiga-ibang bansa. No? So is that something that you may maybe propose or think about sa PBA?
No, that is seriously being considered, Noli. But again, we're also sensitive about teams that have budgetary concerns, no. So, so we're seriously talking about that, and it requires a lot of thought in the process. Pero yung sinasabi mong chismis na malaking ino-offer, totoo yun. Meron talagang mga offer na big, much more than what the PBA can offer, no. Only there are some players who see beyond the offer. That some of them are deeply rooted in the Philippines. Some of them really want to just have international exposure. So the ESL is an opportunity for them to do that. Some of them just want to be able to given an opportunity to play for the country, and you know, ang malaking naging problema natin is itong COVID, itong restrictions on COVID, on sports. Yung mga ibang bansa naglalaro na, tayo hindi pa. So if you are an athlete and a basketball player who wants to compete and wants to get and wants to play and who loves basketball, syempre pagka nasa stable ka, wala kang ginagawa, you have to look for other areas to go to.
Right.
So as much as possible, we'd like to keep basketball alive, really alive.
Yeah. Well, Chairman Ricky, you know, another thing, of course, mga nagtatanong, mga tao, is tungkol po dito sa ating mga naturalized players. Si Andre Blatch and si Marcus Datit na pumakatok sa pintuan ng PBA. What is the position? Is this something that is possible in the future na sila ay matratong local player sa Pro League?
Sa ngayon, the door is closed pa on that they become local players in the Pro League, no? So it is not been looking. We have not looked at it favorably at the moment, but you know, our natural players who serve the country should at least be given a chance, no? To play with us. I think this, as imports pwede, di ba?
Yes.
But this is again the changing landscape of basketball. If they can play in the national team, why can't they play in the PBA? So these are their...
I guess malalim mong usapan yan, Chairman. Obviously, ang daming opinion dyan, and it will take a lot of consensus, as we know. Final, before I let you go, alam naman natin ang
kung si Kai can play in Australia, so why can't I ask him to play in the PBA, di ba?
Exactly. Chairman, before I let you go, nagsimula na po ang free agency. Alam natin na that was a policy that was created by the PBA back in 2014. Nagsimula na ang free agency, and meron na mga players na nag-avail ng yung unrestricted free agency na kung saan pwede silang lumipat at tanggihan ng mga offers ng kanilang mother teams. How do you see this impacting competition sa PBA, Chairman Ricky?
Okay yan. Of course, these free agents will look for teams that they can experience being a champion, no? So medyo may advantage yung teams that have that ability to bring them a championship. But it's free for all. It's good. I mean, there are teams also that would like to retain them, so they have first crack at it. So actually, gustong-gusto ko itong free agent eh.
Pero ako, I've always said, Chairman Ricky, and I hope you don't mind, na the way, I guess, to make sure na hindi maaabuso yung free agency is to make sure that our salary cap in the PBA is strictly enforced. Is that something that you think will be respected ng ating mga koponan para ho hindi naman maabuso itong free agency na policy ng PBA?
Oh no, agree ako sa iyo doon. It's actually the strength of free agents, no? That each team is able to compete on equal terms, di ba? So it's your choice of team na lang that you want. That's why I said now, normally these people will go towards teams that have stronger culture or stronger capability of winning a championship. Kasi they in their careers, no, after 7 years in the PBA, they probably look for a place where they can win a championship.
All right. Well, Chairman Ricky, it's an exciting start in the new year. Although may mga problema, ang PBA naman has always withstood the crisis that have faced us in the past, and I'm sure you will again ngayong taon pong ito. Again, we wish you a Happy New Year, Chairman Ricky.
Sana matapos na ito. Sana matapos na ito.
Sana nga ho, hindi lamang para sa basketball, para sa ating lahat.
Oh, sabi nga na, harapin na natin tong COVID na to. Let's go out and...
Hindi tayo pwede magtago sa ilalim ng bato. Chairman
Hindi
Ricky,
po.
maraming salamat. Regards to everyone and congratulations again. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mga kaibigan, ang chairman ng PBA Board of Governors, walang iba kundi si Mr. Victor Ricky Vargas ng Talk and Text. Again, daming problema, but you know, the leadership of Mr. Ricky has always been this stabilizing force ng PBA, and we certainly wish him all the best sa mga susunod na buwan, lalo-lalo na hinaharap ito pong mga kondisyon ng pandemya. Alright mga kaibigan, we will take a short break. Sa aming pong pagbabalik, makakausap natin ang ating kaisa-isang entry sa Beijing Winter Olympics 2022, si Asa Miller. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom at ng Cherry Tigo. Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play. Oy, bago tayo magpatuloy, gusto ko lang pong batiin ng isang happy birthday si Daddy Gani Mohe. Happy birthday, Daddy. I hope that nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan at lalo pa tayong lumakas at sumigla. Happy birthday ulit kay Daddy Gani Mohe. Alright, mga kaibigan, at this point, malapit na po ang Beijing Winter Olympics. This will happen in February. And right now, we will feature our lone entry to the Beijing Winter Olympics 2022 in our In the Spotlight. He was our entry in the last Olympics in Korea, Pyeongchang. And now he is back in his second Olympics. And he is our lone entry and will be also our flag bearer in that international meet. No other than our 21-year-old alpine skier, all the way from Portland, Oregon, Asa Miller. Hello, Asa. Good day. Thanks for joining us on Power and Play.
Yeah, of course.
Happy New Year. Thank you. And, where are you coming from right now, Asa?
I'm currently in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh, you are in Utah. All right. And the training continues for you, I suppose.
Yeah, I had my first competition a few days ago, and I'll be leaving for another one in 2 days.
Wow. All right. Asa, you have qualified for your second Winter Olympics in Beijing, of course, in 2018 in Pyeongchang. You also competed for the Philippines. What does this mean for you, getting into your second Olympics?
It means the world. I've been waiting 4 years for this experience to come back again with more experience, more wisdom, and better technique. And I'm really looking forward to getting to show I could do and represent the Philippines better than I did the first time on the world stage.
You know, you were able to achieve this. First of all, you got the Philippine loan quota in Beijing. And of course, you qualified with a lot to spare by meeting the qualifying standards. Talk to us about how you got there and how tough was it just to get to those points that you needed to make it to the Olympics?
Well, the first time around when I was 17, it was a big challenge. I set a big goal 2 years prior and worked relentlessly to chip away and qualify for the 2018 games. And then already being qualified for the 2018 games, I knew I could do it again in 4 years. And so I spent the last couple of years honing in my skills and just surpassing my ability before. And so I put in a lot of work over the last couple of years, taking time off school since I was still in high school at the time. And I can't wait to show what I can do now.
You did this amidst a very difficult period of time, which is really the pandemic. Can you tell us what were the challenges that you had to face just to get to this point that you have an opportunity to participate again in the Winter Olympics? You know, travel, quarantine, even funding for that matter.
Yeah. COVID definitely has been difficult amid sports for everybody, but skiing being an outdoor sport, it hasn't been as big of a deal. It's definitely created problems for travel, driving long distances. Other problems would be different scheduling, just trying to stay healthy too, especially amid Omicron variant right now. COVID is going crazy in the United States where I live. So it has definitely created its own challenges. A little bit of slalom.
All right. Well, you know, we saw of course, you will be competing in the giant slalom and the slalom, and we saw a little bit of your video there. And you know, obviously, it's a very difficult event. But before I get to that, you know, you have Filipino roots. You are a Bisquera. Your mother hails from Santa Cruz, Manila. But other than that, you know, very little is known of your Filipino heritage. So, Asa, how much of Asa Miller is a Filipino? Did you actually grow up in a Filipino way or in a Filipino home?
To an extent. My mom definitely cooked Filipino food pretty often. I love talking to my family back in Manila. We talk relatively often. It is a pleasure always to go visit them, though I haven't been to the Philippines in a couple years since the pandemic's happened. So I definitely have some Filipino roots, but it's certainly difficult living in the United States where the culture is very, very different, very diverse.
And your family background, how many siblings do you have, Asa?
I just have one little sister.
All right. And is she younger? Oh, she's younger than little. I suppose she's younger than you. All right. And your father is American. Was he the guy that introduced you to alpine skiing?
Yeah, my dad's American born, California raised, and he is the one who introduced me to skiing when I was 1.5, was when I first got on skis.
Wow.
And then I started ski racing when I was 8.
And how much of an influence, or at least motivation, has your family been, your dad and your mom and your little sister, on your career as a skier?
My parents have always supported me and what my goals were. As long as I had a plan and how I was going to do it, they were always there for me. And so they have been monumental to my success skiing, and a huge reason why I'm still here today and why I'm getting to compete in my second Olympics. So I have them to thank a lot, and I'm super grateful for their support and since day one.
You know, we're looking at your performance here, Asa, and we can just imagine how difficult this is. Of course, we do not have snow in the Philippines, so this is something that is very unfamiliar to many of us in the Philippines. So let me ask you, what do you like about skiing?
Skiing is this very unique, difficult sport. It's very niche, European, but when things go correctly, there's few words I can use to describe it, but it is extremely frustrating at the same time, where the smallest mistakes ruin your day. But that being said, it makes the successes that much greater. So I'd say that's probably my favorite part of the sport. It's an all or nothing kind of thing. And when things work out, you feel like you're on top of the world.
What kind of training do you do for skiing? And and of course, do you do cross training, for instance?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different stuff you can do that's applicable to skiing. There's obviously, like, when we aren't skiing actively, there's time in the gym. There's things like rollerblading and roller skating are also pretty similar in some aspects. Do a lot of jump training off season, and then when it's winter time, we ski courses like this all the time for usually 3-4 hour sessions at a time. We'll just be skiing and working on honing our skills.
Mm-hmm. You have obviously coaches that have helped you. Who has been the biggest, help for you in your trek towards the top of the mountain, so to speak, going to Beijing?
Yeah, going to Beijing, I've had a number of coaches since then. The person who's contributed most to my journey, I'd say, was Brad Sachs. And he was a coach I brought to Pyeongchang in 2018. Though he's no longer my coach, he's definitely been a huge pillar to my abilities now.
Aside from skiing, Asa, is there anything else that you like doing during your off time? I saw on your Instagram that you go diving during your off time.
Yeah, I love scuba diving, many things outdoors, rock climbing, hiking.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And so very, very outdoorsy person with myself and my family.
I think you're living always on the edge here. Isn't skiing dangerous? Are you even concerned at that?
If you ski scared, you're more likely to get hurt. So the more confident you are, the more likely you are to stay safe. And that's how I've navigated my ski career so far.
All right. And it's not a cheap sport. It's obviously a very expensive sport. Going to the Beijing Winter Olympics obviously will take its toll financially. How is your funding, and how are you supporting this particular part of your career?
Well, I very much have my parents to thank for funding for the last 3 years. That being said, going to the Olympics, the International Olympic Committee will be paying for my trip, my coach, and all my staff will be there. So very thankful for that and all the logistics that are being helped out by the International Olympic Committee.
All right. Well, you have a few weeks left before you actually go to before the start of the Winter Olympics. What are your plans right now? How are you going to cap your training and peak at the right time?
Well, I have a competition in the next couple days. I had my first competition of the season a few days ago, and so this next competition will serve as a bit of a starting point and to help me get up to pace and get used to competing again before my competitions in February. So hopefully this next little block of skiing and training will get me prepped and ready for showtime.
You have been to the Olympics in 2018 in Pyeongchang, as I mentioned, in Korea. What have you learned from your first Olympics that you feel you can bring to your second Olympics and make you a better skier?
Well, I've certainly learned a lot of confidence and different mental tricks and techniques in the gate, since it certainly is a difficult sport and all or nothing, where small mistake will mean your day is done. I've learned kind of how to handle stress and use my technique to my advantage, where I can know where I can trust myself and where I can take risks and where I need to be a little safer with my decisions in my skiing.
You finished 70th out of 100 plus 110, I believe, in Korea 4 years ago, and now you're competing once again. What is your personal goal? Are you confident that you will surpass what you have achieved in the past?
Oh, I'm confident I'll definitely place better. I don't have any particular result goals at the moment. I'm not sure what my expectations are for how I will stack up against the rest of the competition, but I'm really excited to see where I end up and just show what I have to offer.
Well, you will be carrying the Philippine flag once again as a lone entry. How exciting is that? What does that mean to you, Asa?
Oh, I can't believe that I'm going to be the only one. I'm very excited to be representing the Philippines and the fact that we will have representation at the games. I'm excited to go hold the flag, have the whole world watch, and I can't wait to show Filipino pride because we're a prideful people.
All right. Well, just before I let you go, any message to the Filipino people who obviously will be looking at your performance in Beijing and, of course, hoping that you really and praying that you do well there?
I'd just like to thank everybody for the support. I can't wait to represent the country and show what I can do and show what we stand for as a country. So thank you all for the support, and I look forward to being out there.
All right. Well, Asa, we will be praying for you, and we know that you will do your best, and that's all we can expect. And of course, we're hoping that you can finish as high as you can and reach that mountaintop that you've always dreamed of. Thank you so much for joining us on Power and Play, and stay safe there.
Thank you so much.
Yan po mga kaibigan, si Asa Miller, our lone entry to the Beijing Winter Olympics. Naku, grabe pambihira ang kanyang magiging achievement. And let's all pray at, after all, he will be our Filipino representative in the Winter Olympics. All right, before we end up, medyo itutuloy po natin meron po tayong special. Alam niyo po, last year we started on health and wellness advocacy dito po sa Power and Play in partnership with Derm Clinic. And again, meron na naman po tayong isa na namang feature tungkol dyan with our special guest mula sa Derm Clinic, si Dr. Angela Pineda. Panoorin niyo po to. Last year, just before we ended the year, we had Dr. Angela on our show, and pinag-usapan natin was psoriasis to start or to end the year. This year, dahil bago ang ating taon, mag-uusap tayo tungkol sa mga New Year's skin resolutions. Yan. Kasi alam naman natin, every year, may mga resolution tayo. Ito, gawin nating resolution, yung pag-aalaga ng ating skin para po maging maganda, ika nga, clear and blemish-free. So, let me begin, Dr. Pineda, with asking, many people, especially after a long break, daming kinain, mga taba, mga kung ano, nung we were exposed, mga nagpunta sa beach, nagpunta sa mga malalamig na lugar. What is your New Year's tip just to be able to maintain good, clean, and blemish-free skin, Doctor?
I guess for skincare, one important thing or something that we should all remember is to simplify your skincare routine. Parang kasi uso sa atin yan, di ba? We want to start strong at the start of the year. But sometimes we become overzealous na ang dami nating gustong steps. Later on pala, hindi mo pala kaya masustain yon. So for us, we really recommend to simplify your regimen by we usually promote 4 steps for skincare to cleanse. Any basic cleanser that you can use, it's good. You don't really need harmful. Medyo uso kasi sa atin, lalo na pag Pinoy, di ba, yung mga whitening soaps, yung mga anti-aging soaps. That's okay, but we really recommend that you cleanse or wash the face very gentle. Hindi yung kukuskusin mo sa face. Yeah, so, di ba? So it's just that, and then wash with lukewarm water so that it's not too hot, it's not too cold. Then secondly, for those, especially with those na prone yung skin to acne, prone to skin infection, especially minsan for our athletes nga yung palaging pawis. We recommend that after cleansing, you do apply toner or you tone the skin. So it's just a second kind of cleansing using a toner just to remove any impurities of the skin that wasn't removed. Then, of course, third would be to moisturize, and fourth would be to exfoliate. When I say moisturize, it's still basic kasi our skin has natural oils. But sometimes, of course, lalo na ngayon dumadalas, lalo na tumataas ulit yung cases natin, we're really more afraid of the virus pag uwi ng bahay, ligo, di ba? So, ang tendency kasi nun, pwedeng mag-dry yung skin. That's why we recommend that at least after washing, after cleansing the face, you apply moisturizer. A small amount of moisturizer with sunscreen. Then afterwards, usually the fourth step, it's the balancing step, yung exfoliation. Your skin really doesn't need a lot of exfoliation, but on a regular basis, your skin kind of changes regularly. Pero minsan pag puyat, lalo na galing tayong New Year, galing ng holiday, so a lot of people nag-binge yan online, diba, Netflix, so nagpuyat. So it's really affecting our skincare.
Hindi naman kailangan tedious or napakahirap, basta paghuhugas ng mukha, sinasabi ni Doktor. And of course, yung paglalagay ng mga creams, no? Doktor, for an athlete na exposed to the sun, mga golfers, no? In particular, or yun naman mga atletang hindi pa nakakalabas. Kasi hindi lang naman mukha ang sa athletes, no? Pinapawisan sila all the time. Lalong-lalo na yung mga sensitive parts ng ating katawan, the feet, even the back, the shoulders. Ano ang dapat ginagawa ng atleta, Doktora, just to be able to not only maintain yung magandang balat sa mukha, but also yung mga very sensitive areas na madalas tumatama sa mga surfaces?
For the body naman, usually, marireduce yan into 2 steps lang. Cleanse and moisturize. So, kasi nga, lalo na, di ba, pag nag-exercise or naarawan, it's really, papawisan ka eh. So, pagkatapos, ang next step mo would be to take a bath afterwards. So, that's okay. Ang recommendation lang namin is in between taking a bath, you take a break lang para makahinga muna yung skin, di ba? Wag bigla-bigla. And then after that, we really recommend that after washing the body, kasi nga, karaniwan, sinasabi ko kanina, meron na tayong natural oils. Pero ang nangyayari kasi, pag palagi naman tayong naliligo, is nasi-scrape off yung natural oils natin. So, pwedeng mag-dry yung skin. So, kaya, more or less, after that, we really recommend to apply moisturizer or lotions for the whole body. Mas beneficial na if we use a lotion or a moisturizer with sun protection. That's usually around SPF 30. Just to make sure that your skin is protected, whether in the house or when you go out, when you get exposed to the sun.
So, hindi kailangan na talagang may activity ka sa beach or nakababad ka sa golf course or sa tennis court. Miski yung ordinary lang na lakad sa labas, you need to put some kind of sunscreen. Doktora, ganun ba yun?
Actually, it's an advocacy of dermatologists, primarily, to really use sunscreen every day. Kasi, sun exposure kasi tinatamaan talaga tayo eh. So we want to offer at least a basic protection for your skin. So we really recommend that you apply moisturizer. There are a lot of moisturizers and sunscreens in the market naman. That varies yung degree of usability. For example, yung mga pag mas extreme yung exposure mo, like golfing, swimming. So pag ganon, we recommend an SPF that's higher than 50. So 30 minutes before you get exposed, we advise that you apply it already. Then, if for example, extended yung periods naman na maaarawan ka, you reapply after 2 to 3 hours.
Another point about skincare, of course, is drinking supplements and vitamins. Yan po mga kaibigan ang part ng ating interview with Dr. Angela Pineda ng Derm Clinic about skincare resolutions. Yan po ang part ng ating health and wellness advocacy that we will continue sa ating susunod na episode next week. By the way, dun po sa naging interview natin kay Congressman Bambol Tolentino, we also invited the PATAFA. We asked Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, ang kanilang chairman, to join us. We also invited Chairman Butch Ramirez ng PSC, as well as the party ni EJ Obiena, si Mr. James Lafferty. Lahat po sila nag-beg off, again, out of respect and deference sa request ng PSC na magkaroon muna ng ceasefire at ayusin muna ang kanilang pag-uusap. So we respect that and we certainly hope that next week ay makuha po natin ang kanilang pakte or at least makakuha tayo ng balita. Sana maganda lang natapos na ang sigalot ng PATAFA at ni EJ Obiena. Binabati po natin lahat ng mga nakikinig sa atin at nanonood po mula sa iba't ibang bahagi ng mundo. Si Ramil Salceda mula sa Tokyo, Japan. Si Alex Fentes mula po sa Bacolod City. Ang tropang Tumao, iba to Si Cesar Ramirez, Errol Grimares at marami pa pong iba. Maraming po salamat sa inyong panunood ngayong araw pong ito. Alright, dyan po nagwawakas ang ating programa this week sa Power and Play. Sana po ay patuloy kayong maging ligtas. Again, iwas po tayo sa paglabas-labas. Kung hindi naman kailangan, let's stay home at pahupain muna natin ito pong surge ng COVID-19. Again, tuwing Sabado po, lagi nating paalala, bawal ang masungit. And of course, sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Happy Sports Weekend mga kapatid! More power, more play!
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilang tadang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Pagpakitang gilas na at pagpapatalo, ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ng bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulot, syumbe, sibay, lakay, paliga.